Hello again, everyone. Louis Setti, speaking as the Blue Ridge Reporter on Saturday evening, March 3rd, 2012, about the Governor's Opportunity Fund in one case and the Governor's Motion Picture Opportunity Fund here in Virginia. And at the outset, regarding a major component of the story, I would like to give credit to the Old Dominion watchdog. That's the Old Dominion watchdog, which I found online. The managing editor is a gentleman named Bill Morris, who has extensive credentials as a journalist and who has appeared on nationally shown talk shows about politics and government and the like. The other Opportunity Fund story is one that I developed regarding State Senator Steve Newman, whose firm, Delta Star, here in Lynchburg, received Opportunity Fund money from the Commonwealth of Virginia and also a matching amount from the city of Lynchburg for a total award of $200,000. The company Delta Star employs Senator Newman, and in fact Senator Newman may be a part owner of it through the firm's employee stock ownership plan. And I inquired of Senator Newman some months ago now, a couple of months ago, about his status as a stockholder or as not a stockholder. I did that by various means, email, phone calls, to his senatorial office, to his local office here in Lynchburg. He never responded. Thereafter, a local newspaper printed my letter to the editor exploring this possibility. That seemed to me a likelihood he would be a stockholder because he's a vice president of the firm and a member of the board of directors, and considering those positions, that's likely he would own stock in an employee-owned stock company. So even in response to that public notice, in addition to what was on YouTube and a newspaper circulated within his senatorial district, he did not respond. It seems to me it is a virtual certainty then that he owns stock in the company, and he can't fault me for saying that because he's had plenty of opportunity to say to me or somebody else, no, I don't own stock in a company that received taxpayer incentive money, which then went into the company's general revenues and would presumably then benefit the shares of stock that he owns. Okay? This is what happens with these transfer payment systems, whatever they're called, and in this case they're called incentive plans, incentive money. And the story that the Old Dominion watchdog put online was about the Governor's Motion Picture Opportunity Fund. At the Governor's request, there's a bill moving through both houses of the Virginia legislature to provide incentive money to major motion picture companies to bring them to Virginia along with their film crews and actors to film their movies here in the Commonwealth. And under this plan, the governor is proposing, as a rough sketch at least, a film budgeted for $10 million might have qualifying expenses in Virginia of $5 million and could consequently receive $1 million from the state. And the idea is that there would be a multiplier effect. The state pays to the film company, let's say $1 million, as in incentive money for $5 million spent in this state to shoot the film, and that would be multiplied through restaurants and through hotels and travel and whatever through the economy in Virginia, and that would provide an overall net gain for Virginia. There was a movie filmed in Virginia a few years ago where $80 million was spent on, this is more than one film by the way, some films were filmed in Virginia, $80 million spent on labor, equipment, and services, and 3,500 people employed, according to estimates from the Virginia Film Office. Excuse me. the Virginia Film Office estimates that the film industry brought in an estimated $3.3 billion as a positive impact to the state by spending $1.7 billion in films in Virginia. This is the so-called ripple effect. But some analysts say that this doesn't really work out when you crunch the numbers. For example, much of the incentive money is put into the pockets of film crews and actors who leave the state with that money. Michigan, for example, through an incentive program, paid $800,000 of Clint Eastwood's salary for the film Gran Torino, which most of that money, in fact virtually all of it I would assume, Clint Eastwood took out of state. So this is a shifting mechanism. You see, money is pumped in to the economy through the film industry for shooting and filming and doing all the setup and tear down that's required to film a movie. That money goes into hotels, restaurants, and other service-oriented businesses. But manufacturing and other core businesses in Virginia don't benefit. However, they pay the taxes, and so do regular folks and people in other businesses, truck drivers, lawyers, doctors, nurses. Everybody across the state pays into the state treasury. Then money goes out through the Opportunity Fund to the film industry, and there is an assumption that this benefits the overall economy, but that is in fact unclear. An assumption used in this system is that the multiplier effect is 2 times whatever is spent whatever is provided in the way of tax dollars as incentive money. There's a doubling effect for the overall economy. But a lot of states are finding out that this is not working according to the Old Dominion story. Michigan was the one who paid a substantial amount of money to Clint Eastwood. Massachusetts, which offers a certain amount of incentives to the film industry, is also finding out that it's losing money by this program. In fact, the legislation that's passing through both houses in Virginia doesn't pretend even to have some careful cost-benefit analysis, but the legislation says only that, quote, the income produced by this activity would likely offset the lost tax revenue. Fundamentally speaking, government should not be paying money to various industries, because even if the system could work, what makes anyone think that people who are in politics and are elected through politics and think about politics, they live, breathe, and sleep politics, would make these decisions about the allocation of so-called incentive money with total objectivity that had nothing to do with politics? And by the way, in the Senator Newman story, I'm not alleging he did anything wrong or that it was illegal, because the law in Virginia allows such a thing. And I don't even argue that I have evidence, and I don't, that he influenced the award, because people other than folks in the legislature, in fact, people with the Opportunity Fund on the state level and the city at the Lynchburg level, make those decisions. But this is a flawed system. There's no proof it actually works. Experience has shown to some states that it doesn't, and it is replete with the opportunity for abuse and favoritism. It should be ended in Virginia and elsewhere. This is Lou Vassetti speaking as the Blue Ridge Reporter.